everyone.
No, we're not live yet. There we go. Now I hit
Oh,
the button.
we hit the button finally. We're live. Listen up, everyone. For those who are watching, we got the blue Kool-Aid,
The blue Kool-Aid
the red Kool-Aid,
and the red Kool-Aid. And you notice
and white.
we're on
and
fucking
white.
StreamYard of all things right now.
To symbolize and white there for red, white, and blue. Now,
Let me move this
Keffals,
fucking chair out the way so I can...
Tipster and them. Oh man, you just have
Keep talking. No, just keep talking. Go
Tipster
ahead.
and them drunk the blue Kool-Aid because we know they
Tipster,
were Democrats.
I can't believe Tipster drunk the fucking Kool-Aid.
He drunk the blue Kool-Aid.
And we had the man. We had the man not long. Like, what was it? No, about 2 years now.
2 years ago, back when he was still a good tipster, a decent tipster, before he had his fall. And after the fall, I didn't care for him anymore.
Back when he was Hero Tip. You know, he was just called Tippy. You just gotta let the tip in.
What's Keffals? Oh, John Garrett. You're about to learn what Keffals is.
You're about to learn. We just learned about this, so we're gonna let Muda.
Let me tell you this.
Muda's video
Keffals
in the background rolling.
Is a woman that thinks she's a woman that has one of these.
See, you're being nice about it. Let me tell you what it is. Keffals is a he bitch. I don't know how to break it down further. He bitch.
Born with she was born with one of these.
She was born with she was born with a baseball bat.
No, I'm just saying the person originally had a dick. So technically, and I don't even think she got implants. She's just got estrogen face look.
So wait a minute. Hold up. That's a detail. That's a new fucking detail to me. Hold up. Simon, please stop scratching at the door. Hey, go ahead, let him out, please. Listen. We didn't do this. We didn't know about this stuff years ago.
It's only through trial and tribulation that we learned about it. John learned about the...
I learned about... The only reason I learned about this is because Tipster deleted his channel, which was the biggest fucking red flag that was like, what? I originally... And Keo told me to say no, which I might just save this for Monday then. I was originally going to talk about the racist backlash of Assassin's Creed Shadows. But with Tipster disappearing... He's still on tweet. He's still on Tweet Land, aka X fuck you. But
hold on, is he hiding on Twitch?
Is he?
I don't know. I think he does Twitch. Just somebody check and see if he's hiding on Twitch.
As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me just.
That'd be interesting.
I think I can. Hold on.
That'd be an interesting plot twist, everyone. If Tipster deleted his YouTube channel but went to hide on Twitch.
I can check from
Social Blade?
Check from... No. I'm checking off of Is it still showing just the single it's just showing the YouTube thing on the screen, but it's not showing the fucking... I'll be able to take... I'm looking it up right now, so I'll just find it anyway, so hold on. Because I wanted to show Oh wait, that's what the fuck it's doing. Hold on.
Technical issues, everyone. We're still...
Oh, that's the issue. Hold on, let me present this.
Present Exhibit B. Present.
I know, I'm trying to...
The blue Kool-Aid they drunk.
Do that, so it's not letting me do that, so fuck it. I'll just find it and I'll confirm it in the back. Hold on. Tipster. Okay. Let's see. So it's loading. It just says Linktree, Tipster Live. And all his links is... He doesn't have YouTube. Twitch. Let's check Twitch. And yes, I can confirm.
Oh,
yes, he's got Twitch.
So the little sucker can hide on... He deleted his YouTube to go hide there.
So he pulled a DSP at one point.
Oh, that's what he just did. Trump 2024. Yes, I'm wearing a Trump shirt.
You're lucky I got those headphones in, because you would be getting a dirty stare right now if you the words Trump 2024 were just uttered.
You just uttered them for me.
I uttered them for you. Oh yeah. Well, fuck you. Okay, let me go back to this. So now to confirm it, let me put widescreen on this. So it's not tips. Oh my god, it's Keffals is a complete fraud.
Yeah, she took $100,000 of GoFundMe,
She did,
and
or it. I don't
he.
fucking know what to go with
I don't
because I
know what
remember when I was raised in fucking school, kindergarten, elementary. You know what your pronouns are from right. You know them anyway. If I got a pee, I'm a he.
pronounce it. If you have a dick or a penis, you're he. If you have a vagina or a V, you're a woman.
Okay, here's the thing. If I can write my name in the fucking snow with my piss, I have a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
I know there's no snow in Florida. I was in snow in Delaware, but if you try to piss a snow in Delaware, you're going to be pulling out that yellow rod.
You didn't even know what yellow snow was until you went to Delaware.
All right, so I'm about to hit this. We'll try to stop it at the points that we don't know and whatever little information we do know. Because I didn't know that, like, why do we keep finding lore like this? You know what we should have done? I might just put you through hell for this. We might just have to go over the Leo Convoy stuff on StreamYard.
That's a lot of lore.
And it's going to be broken into multiple pieces.
It's still ongoing.
Well, good. We have a new saga. Think of this as a TV special.
But
okay,
but,
and I'm gonna put the closed caption on so I can see shit, or we can see.
Has anybody seen Stefan? I mean, seriously, I'd love to hear his little opinions of this.
All right.
Viewer discretion is advised. Start playing the cops music.
Or playing the Jackass theme at viewer discretion.
Anyone ever finds out about how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled. Hello, guys
damn
and
right
gals.
you are.
This video is one that required quite a fair bit of research, and it's one that I should have released a few weeks ago. It's a video that might be one of my most controversial videos, but one that required looking back years upon years of internet history to come to an actual conclusion.
Wait,
of one of the most.
How many fucking years are we talking about here of this?
She's been around for quite a while. Since at least before COVID.
Before COVID.
Before COVID. At least I think.
I think all these people that appear after COVID were genetically created in China's lab.
Yeah, I noticed a little trend the other day. Is it just me, or did all the famous big YouTubers like lose their effing minds after COVID, post-COVID world?
That's what I'm saying. All the YouTubers we used to watch after COVID lost their goddamn minds. The only one who seems to keep his mind is fucking Keemstar.
And Keemstar didn't have one much to begin with, except he was business savvy. So
thank you. He knew what the fuck he was doing.
I think he may have lost his mind sanity-wise, but somehow he's the only one that's staying consistent. I mean, look at Boogie now compared to before. Woo! Don't watch that documentary.
After that boxing match, Boogie and Wings got a ton of respect. So whether we talk shit or not,
was that a boxing match? Time.
Oh yeah, you and I, we would have streamed that, but that wasn't even a boxing match. So load Muda.
Those dangerous people on the web, an international transgender activist that some of you all may know as Keffals. Now, Keffals is not necessarily a popular activist.
God. So that's what Keffals looks like?
Yes.
Babe, this is what Keffals look like. I need an opinion. That's a he bitch. You thought it was a woman, right? From here, from Florida. Oh, wait. From the distance. I thought you said from Florida because you made it sound like from. I'm like, wait. I mean, you might find her in Miami. Well, because Miami is fact central of Florida.
Okay, hit play.
This online transgender activist known for fighting against the controversial website Kiwi Farms. Her campaign saw mainstream
Farm!
attention
Kiwi
after a
Farm.
highly publicized
Fucking
swatting,
something with Kiwi
where she
Farm.
alleged mistreatment by the Canadian Police Services. The online harassment
She's
escalated
Canadian.
until
I
she
am
was forced to
sorry.
flee her home country to escape. With the media and an entire community backing her, she raised over $100,000 on GoFundMe to recoup her losses and pursue legal action against law enforcement. This is the story the public heard all the way up in 2022. Turns out her entire career and almost everything she said is a lie.
You got the
Join
blue
me as I
fucking
take you
Kool-Aid.
down a journey that involves SWAT teams, misgendering, do-it-yourself hormones, cat boys.
I know I didn't just hear do-it-yourself hormones.
Yes, she promoted those bathtub hormone treatment shit.
Bathtub hormones. That's a thing? That's
Or whatever
That's a thing?
that non-prescription type
bathtub
one
hormones. Is that a thing? I don't know. Your mom worked in the medical field. You're the only person I can ask. Bathtub hormones. I guess. Why'd you throw the whole thing away? No, don't throw the thing away. Dump the chicken out.
Watch it. You'll find out about it, John. Believe me, I didn't know this was a thing until me showed it to me.
I will look into that. So,
But does Keffals
first,
people
let me
think
Kobe my socks into the. There we go.
reason Tipster deleted his channel? There's a second theory is that he was how do I put it, cheating on his wife Keffals.
Who was cheating on whose wife? Tipster.
Yeah, people think he was cheating on his wife with Keffals. The blood went out of his face.
Okay, I promised my girlfriend that I was not going to abuse the chair because with the recent Assassin's Creed stuff, it would look weird that I'm beating up on a black chair. But okay, let's just.
By the way, I don't think Keffals
And a
has had
scam
bottom surgery.
for some reason almost no one is talking about. Before we get into the real meat and potatoes, I should probably explain a bit more about who Keffals is. Her name is Clara Sorrenti, first rose to prominence in a community of another left-wing political streamer named Vosh, garnering a following.
Tips. Keemstar made a great whatchamacallit thumbnail. And this is right before Tipster thing. And Kristen Art had on. It had Bosch picture right here, Keffals right here, and then Tipster right here. And Bosch was X, Keffals was X, and Tipster wasn't X'd out yet.
I think I seen that picture. I think I might know what you're talking about.
It was funny. Kristen Art uses it as a thumbnail.
Following by posting memes on Twitter. With this notoriety, she began streaming video games on Twitch in March of 2020. Her focus shifted to politics later that year after a wave of anti-trans legislation swept through the United States. She went on to raise $200,000 for a campaign for Southern equality to protect trans youth. By the end of the year, her Twitter surpassed 10,000 followers, and while most were on board with the activist, others grew very critical of how she used her platform. Clara regularly directed her chat to brigade targets by ratioing them. Ratioing, for anybody who's not terminally online, is when you try to get more likes than the original post in a quote tweet or a reply. This amounted to coordinating with her chat on stream, and even if you blocked her, she would just use alternate accounts to achieve this goal. It was through this that she got into her first real internet beef in early 2022. On March 22nd, 2022, Clara had a spat with online notorious agitator Ian Miles Chong. Their back and forth continued for hours as she commanded her viewers to ratio him. Then at around 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, her chat was brigaded with hateful messages. Despite the timing, one of her mods would end up blaming someone else, another streamer named Destiny. Destiny is a kind of progenitor of the entire online leftist streaming space. His stream is where both Vosh and Hassan Piker got their start. These people used to be friends,
okay.
but nowadays,
Hold
not
on.
so much.
Pause.
And that is reflected in
Pause.
their communities. The only
Destiny actually has a brain and is actually fairly debatable, unlike Hassan and Wash. Okay, it's even noted. Destiny has a little bit of up here compared to. He's not full blown blue. He's got a little bit of sensibility in him. To continue, just thought I'd give that lore for Destiny.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in theater mode. It probably makes it easier to do playback. There we go.
Only evidence implicating Destiny was a quote tweet where he called her cringe. Ooh, the shock. It was posted 2 hours after the raid.
So
Despite
cringe is a
this,
slur
Kara and
now?
her community insisted it was his fault. Once again, there was no evidence he had any involvement, yet she used it as justification to deplatform him. Her first response was to try to get his Twitter mass reported and banned. She set her sights on his Twitch channel, launching what can only be described as a full-fledged character assassination. There are countless examples of her legitimate slander and flat-out lies about Destiny. He detailed the worst of her behavior in an extensive document he published back in 2022. And I'm only going to touch on a few examples because this video is going to be as long as it is. The first thing to point out is she was successful in depriving him of one of his main
They're
sources
calling
of
Kiwi
income.
Farms Nazis
She painted
now?
Destiny as transphobic for not supporting trans women competing in sports with cis women. Even if you disagree with this, that doesn't necessarily make Destiny transphobic.
Hold on.
It's a fringe pressure point of a much
The trans thing, I hope he's not talking about trans men, you know, the men that turn into women, competing in women's sports because they always win. Because they're originally dudes. But that it's just a common factor. Just continue. Just point that little flaw out.
Yeah.
It's pissed off the actual women in sports.
larger, broader issue. It's a highly specific, contentious issue and an unfair characterization of his broader catalog. Regardless, her labeling garnered enough support to get Destiny banned off of Twitch within 24 hours for hate speech. She immediately took credit, gloating about taking away his primary source of income. Hey, Steve, I just took away your primary source of income. Please leave me alone and stop bullying trans people for content. He picked a fight with me. He got banned. I won. This behavior was not only encouraged, but rewarded with 30,000 new followers that week. An important thing to remember is that if you're banned off Twitch, you cannot appear on the site at all. For the longest time, you couldn't even show his face on screen without getting in trouble. Now that he couldn't defend himself, she spread even more blatant falsehoods. The same day, she baselessly accused Destiny of stealthing, which is secretly removing a condom during sex without the partner's consent. This is generally considered...
Whoa. What? What? What the fuck is stealthing? No, that's the normal term. Stealthing has another term. It means taking off the condom during sex without the partner knowing. I swear, I'm learning everything. I learned cunnilingus. I learned fucking stealthing. I learned... What the fuck am I going to learn next? Wait, what was that other word too? Huh? What was that other word? Yeah, I did. I know. I went to hood sex ed. It's called the teacher was like, here's these websites. You boys need to figure this out. You know what? Fuck it. I'll take that today. I don't care.
I feel like I'll be using this prop a lot more.
You want some Bud Light? It's a speaker.
Before Bud Light went woke, everyone.
Yeah, before Bud Light started getting promoted by a he-bitch.
I swear.
Can I
Last
have
year
the
was...
sword, please? Why? Can I have my sword, please?
You need to finish the video, John, before you can use the sword. You have to go through more lore.
Considered a form of you know what, which Clara brings up in her accusation.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of...
What did she say? Did she say what I think she said?
Yes.
Fucking ad.
Mom was doing...
Get
ad blocked! Exactly... I did. It doesn't work. You do realize Google's blocking those, right?
I use Brave.
All right, there we go. Well, aren't you stunning and brave?
Insane shit.
To this day, there has never been any evidence or even an allegation made towards Destiny about this. She walked it back shortly after, which shows just how callous she is towards claims of such a serious nature. But because he was deplatformed, she was able to further a false narrative to her chat, as well as tens of thousands of people on Twitter. They all either assumed she was being honest or didn't care she was slandering him because they had already disliked Destiny. In retrospect, her behavior paints a clear picture of how she would conduct herself in the future. It wasn't long into this drama that Keffals got noticed by the site Kiwi Farms, who started a thread about her on March 26, 2022. Clara quickly tried to guilt Destiny by
farms.
Oh, I thought you told me to pause it. I thought you had something to say about that.
I said I love the farms. The farms are the greatest. They were the greatest help during the Vic Mignogna case.
Yeah.
Association claiming he used the forum and was even friends with the owner. And what was the reasoning? Well, because apparently he has an account is because he was a target on the site since 2017 with his own board. All his posts are arguing with trolls in his own thread. He was also never friends with Null, who is the owner of Kiwi Farms. He has also gone on record to wish him death several times. Null, by the way, wishing death on Destiny.
And this is while he's out, I guess. It's just like he's super gross.
Oh my god!
Sometimes he says things which are funny or agreeable, and it's like, I wish I could like you, bro, but you're creepy and gross and weird.
Is that
and your
is that a
brain's all
woman?
up and your shit's all.
That's a dude.
You talk like a. So we can't be friends, and I kind of think the world would be better off with you.
Clara knew this, but intentionally spread a lie that they met 10 years ago on the game StarCraft. When confronted, she admitted, I know, I wanted him to respond to the accusation. It was bait. At this point, I should probably take some time to explain exactly what Kiwi Farms is. Kiwi Farms is an online website dedicated to discussing internet figures. Okay, you probably heard about internet lolcows, people like Chris Chan, Boogie2988, or Daniel Larson, who has his own legal problems of late. The website's composed of various threads where users effectively congregate to document and follow individuals with a negative lens, okay? Now, we have to acknowledge that Kiwi Farms does allow doxing, okay? On the site, it's permitted to post the personal information of anybody being discussed, including full names, phone numbers, home addresses, hell, even blood type if you can find it, and most other forms of personally identifiable information. It's also a site where anything goes, okay? It's like the Wild West of the internet. You ever try to look up me on some of these threads? You'll probably find Indian and poo in the loo and crazy stuff all day, every day. Kiwi Farms was made back in 2013 by Joshua Connor Moon, also online known as Null. The original purpose of the site was to document internet figure Chris Chan. After they covered Chris Chan initially, it started to change itself and rebrand into a general purpose online gossip wiki, so to speak, where they started to cover various individuals like Darkside Phil, Boogie, Wings of Redemption, who all actually have threads. And the site does have a propensity to make threads about transgender individuals. Anti-trans sentiment is banned on a lot of major platforms. And as a result, the site has become a place for those opinions to effectively congregate. Now, again, I want to start off by saying I don't endorse or support that behavior. In fact, I outright condemn it, all right? There's no reason to have any form of hate on the internet. That being said, all right, whatever goes on the site does fall under free speech and is entirely legal, okay? It's somewhat of a misnomer online that apparently doxing somebody is against the law. It is against the law to hack someone's accounts and breach their privacy to obtain their personal information, but that behavior is not encouraged by the site, and of course that behavior is punishable by law. But technically, it is not against the law to post someone's address against their will. As shitty as that sounds, most controversial internet figures have threads on this site where they not only document their personal information, but they collect any piece of content, tweets, and documents that they post online.
Quick pause, Keo. When the fucking EDP documentary from Mike Klum drops, that we're gonna watch it on this day one.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that shit on stream. We're gonna see that shit live because it's about fucking time.
And the EDP lore we've
so early on, Claire,
it needs to come to a conclusion.
Clara blamed the thread's creation on Destiny, saying he was the reason they found out about her. Later, she admitted it was her constant instigating that actually caught their attention.
How did the Kiwi Farm stuff even start? They noticed me because I started doing Twitter ratios.
Why do you look like you live in a slum basement?
No. Why does the bitch look like she came out of Fallout and she's one of those fucking what do you call those?
The Fallout shelters. It looks like one of those Fallout
but what do you call the fucking
bunkers?
No. those enemy types that they're like zombies and they run at you.
Ghouls?
Yeah, she looks like a ghoul with skin.
I mean, what's up with the background? It looks like a Fallout shelter.
She looks like
Man.
she's in a Fallout shelter. Well, she, Fuckalulu, I don't know. Electric Boogaloo. If we don't get through all this lore today, that's gonna be the fucking stream for Sunday night or Monday. It's gonna be called Keffals Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, we'll get through it today. I've got plenty of energy to stay up.
From getting mad about Twitter ratios to
Ugh.
digging up every single thing in the last 28 years of my life, looking for more reasons to be mad at me.
The bitch is only 20.
Again,
Well, here's the thing.
hypocrisy
She's
in
in
this
her
state.
Here's
30s.
the thing. She's in her 30s, but how much of that does she spend as a man and how much of that does she spend as a woman? If she somehow went 15 and 15, that would be the most shocking fucking thing I've heard this week.
Have you DM to Black this just to hear his opinion?
No, I haven't. I should just do that real quick. I should just send that to him.
On trans people? Because I'm pretty sure he's his opinion would be very interesting.
Send this to him. And let me find him. Where you at? 2 Black 2, buddy.
Because I'm sorry, Tipster, you drunk plenty of the blue Kool-Aid because you went to the leftist side. Unfortunately, you weren't a rightist.
Oh shit! Wait, let me send this to Kage because I did say he did mention shit. All right, let's get back to this.
Let's find the 7 wonders of this world.
The 7 wonders of this world. You mean the fucking 7 rings of the anal sphincter that is called this Keffals cancer.
Statements are going to be rife in this video. After Destiny got banned from Twitch, the owner of Kiwi Farms discussed their feud on their podcast. The episode was streamed live on March 25th. Clara reacted on Twitter, calling him the final boss of transphobes, and proclaiming she wouldn't back down. I have done nothing wrong, nor will I be going anywhere. Her thread was created the next day,
I did
racking
nothing
up
wrong. I
page
did
after
everything
page,
correct.
scrutinizing her early life and online history. That included rumors of embezzling funds from her local Communist Party chapter for opiates. And a supposed
Whoa. Did he just say fucking... Hold on.
Communist. He called them communist.
Communist with what? Is that communist funds or... Okay. Embezzling communistic funds?
Yes.
I never think I would hear embezzlement and communism in the same sentence. As a matter of fact, since I am half retarded, let me ask the dictionary. What the hell does embezzlement mean? I know what it means when I see it, but I don't know the exact definition.
Oh my god.
You may as well just join me, babe.
No.
Hmm?
Stay off the screen, John. Have her stay off the screen. It makes it more suspenseful this way because they don't know who you're talking to. You make you look like a madman.
Well, no, because I had to answer what he was saying. You said something with something ruination of money. Let me see. Thank you. Theft or misappropriation of funds placed in one's trust or belonging to...
I know exactly what it means. It's okay, John. John, she wasted $100,000 of the GoFundMe money on herself. That was
Do you know what I could do with $100,000? But then this bitch embezzled it.
It's not a woman. It's a dude. Remember?
I'm gonna have a fucked up knee tomorrow. I'm gonna have a fucking bruised hand before this is over.
It's okay, dude. You're only like 10 minutes into the thing. It's not even that long yet. We haven't even.
King, you've missed some of it already. I had a partial just had a few seconds of an episode. You know, I had to get it out of my system. I had to hit the fucking chair. Because when it comes to money, when it comes to how many things have we covered that comes to fucking people embezzle? How did you embezzle? How did you out embezzle the king of embezzlement called DSP?
She wasted the stuff on stuff for herself to GoFundMe money.
How did you waste that? Worse than Phil spending it on WWE and not getting
like a new
audited by the
chair.
fucking IRS.
She bought like a $2,000 chair, $2,000 streaming equipment.
See, I must know that I'm good with my money in a way, even though I know I am happy. I'm pretty sure I'm getting a stare behind me saying, "You good with money?" No. Yes, I know I'm not. I can sense that. I can sense your mind before you even say that. I'm Professor X tonight, baby. Oh.
Hit the play button so you can hear more.
Yeah, I'm hitting the play. Don't worry.
Local Communist Party chapter for opiates and a supposed Discord server called the Catboy Ranch. It was posted alongside her and her family's personal information, which understandably made her very upset. Clara spoke out about this, which led many people who'd been similarly targeted to join her in solidarity. This began what eventually became #DropKiwiFarms. #DropKiwiFarms was a movement to get the site taken off the internet. They specifically went after service providers like Cloudflare, who provided DDoS protection and mitigation services. They argued Kiwi Farms was a stalking and harassment site that bullied people into taking their own lives. However, this largely picked up after her story received widespread mainstream coverage. For a while, her focus stayed on trying to bludgeon Destiny with their reputation. On July 18th, Keffals announced a tell-all about Destiny's association with the site. This backfired because her thumbnail used a picture of Destiny's face, violating Twitch's policy on banned streamers. Her channel got banned before she could even start, forcing her to stream on YouTube instead. The attention only incentivized Kiwi Farms to keep prodding, and a week later, she fell victim to an attempted swatting. The incident has made public on the 9th of August in a video titled, "My Life is in Danger, I Need Your Help." Clara explained that 4 days earlier, on August 5th, she woke up to police services pointing an assault rifle at her face.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London police services.
Hear that? That's a dude's
pointing
voice.
An assault rifle in my face.
A letter had been emailed.
That's her.
You know, I think I want. You know where I think that embezzled money went.
That's not a woman, King. That's a dude.
No. Yeah, that's not a woman. Okay. AI can create a better person in transition than actual funded money.
She never used any of that funded money for her transition.
You don't get those tits naturally. Because those shits are faker than the Mbop.
No, that was all stuff she'd done before she did the GoFundMe. Just go watch more of it. You're gonna go bonkers. I watched all this and more lore.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit play.
To every city council member in London, Ontario, threatening a mass. Clara was arrested, booked, and held in custody for 11 hours. They searched her apartment and confiscated several devices. They allegedly misgendered her and even booked her under her dead name. If you're unaware, dead naming refers to using a prior name for a trans person, generally associated.
Let me pause this so I can read that. Dead name. The birth name of somebody who has changed their name, most commonly attributed to, I can't even fucking see what that says, but can be attributed to any person who has changed their name, sometimes written as 2 words, dead name. To call somebody their dead name, to out somebody's dead name to the public. Don't call her by her dead name. She hasn't gone by that name in years. September 26, 24. So what? Huh?
It's how people get mad at people like, I don't know, Conundrum, when you would call him when he stopped being Dark One to Cobra Commander, and I just kept calling him Conundrum, and that's dead naming. But I don't really give a shit. If your name's Chris, well, you're stuck as Chris.
No, you're good. You're all good. You know we don't give a damn.
Associated with the gender they were assigned at birth. This worsened an already traumatic experience she considered a hate crime. The video was posted alongside a GoFundMe with the
serious?
stated intent of helping Clara recoup her losses,
I might
move
try to close
immediately,
down
and
the
build a
fucking
legal fund to
missing stuff
protect her
that's there.
rights. It received widespread media attention, bringing in over $100,000 in donations. Even with their support, however, it seemed like there was no escape. Trolls kept figuring out her location as she was forced into hiding, and her battle against Kiwi Farms continued.
Oh my god.
Even after fleeing the
That fucking
continent,
thing, I'm gonna have
eventually she was
nightmares.
successful in getting the site dropped by Cloudflare, who cited an imminent threat to human life. Without their protection, Kiwi Farms became vulnerable to illegal denial of service attacks and was forced to shut down. Now, this is the story that the public.
Wait. Is Kiwi Farms up or no? Because wait, didn't he just say
It's
that?
up.
Then
It's
they got...
up. It's up. It's up. The public just only knows one half of the story.
Oh, because he just said it kept subject to DDoS attacks. So
Well, that's because Keffals just here. It's interesting.
public
I
was
had
led
heard
to believe.
Kiwis.
Concluding a successful campaign, Keffals reiterated over and over that the site had been shut down. It only became more difficult to insist as time had gone on, given it's obviously not true. Kiwi Farms is up to this day, and by all metrics, it has way more stability than ever before. And what many of her supporters don't realize is that this is truly the beginning of the web of lies that make up this entire ordeal. Almost everything you've heard about this whole situation is a lie. And that's why I'm going to explore in depth in these next two sections. These are two very important aspects to the story to address her portrayal of the swatting and how exactly the money was spent. When it comes to something as serious as swatting, it's important not to downplay its severity. This is a crime that's taken innocent people's lives. But curiously, her story began to change as time went on. The narrative set forth in her initial video is one of terror. Clara says on the 5th of August, she is awoken by police services pointing an assault rifle at her face. This specific detail is referenced in her video several times.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle in my face.
Why do I have to talk?
When I
with
was
a dead,
woken up by
monotone
police officers and
voice?
saw the assault rifle pointed at me, I thought I was going to die. I feel traumatized.
Her story then changed to an encounter in the hallway. The exact phrasing is that she went into the hallway and then saw the weapon.
The email, Sorrenti says, had given.
why do I sense that Keffals' story about being swatting is gonna have more plot holes than a South Louisiana hooker?
Just you watch. It gets good.
Given out her real address and resulted in police with guns at her doorstep and her being arrested.
When I went into the hallway and then saw that assault rifle, I screamed and I thought I was going to die.
A month later, she admitted that they didn't enter her apartment until after she was in custody.
But you were in the hallway.
Just watch.
Okay, let me. I know. This ad shit right here. So either you were drunk sleeping in the hallway,
she'll change the goalpost. She'll change the goalpost of her story constantly.
They did not go into my apartment until after I was in custody, and they had a search warrant signed.
These next few clips are of Alex, her fiance at the time. Alex confirms she didn't wake up with a gun in her face and reveals Clara wasn't even the one to answer the door. They spoke to Alex first, who was already awake, and gave Clara enough time to put on pajamas.
So it wasn't quite that they knocked on the door and I answered. Rather, I was getting ready for the shower and there was a tremendous pounding. And so, yes, someone did not wake her with a rifle pointed 3 inches from her face. But essentially, as soon as she woke up,
was I in a state of undress? I was naked and I had to put on a pair of pajamas that was like on the floor before I could even go out to see the police officers.
See, the story has already morphed significantly from Clara waking up to guns in her face, to seeing guns in the hallway, to police never entering the apartment at all. The lack of consistency is concerning, given she was supposed to be taking legal action against them. And I mean, Keffals went so far as to compare herself to a victim of police brutality. Every time
I see a story involving an innocent black man being killed by police, I think back to last month when I had an assault rifle pointed at me by police. How easily a situation could have escalated if it wasn't for hope. I hope Elijah McCain finds justice. Baseball bat?
Time I see another story involving an innocent black man being killed by the police, I think back to last month when I had an assault rifle. Dog, whatever you think about the interaction, it is by no means comparable to what happened to Elijah McClain. And the fact that she can't keep her story straight just makes this so much more worse. Clara also claimed police were transphobic and booked her under a dead name. If you're unaware, dead naming again refers to using a prior name for a trans person generally associated with the gender they were assigned at birth.
Wait, does that
During
mean
the
that we
arrest,
can't call
the police
EDP his
officer
old name?
referred to me by my dead name. I
Do I
was booked
fucking
in
care?
the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son. The fact that a fake email led to London Police Services booking me under my
Pause.
dead name
Pause.
reveals
Wait.
the prejudice.
London or Canada? Didn't they fucking say she's from Canada?
She moves all the time to avoid
All the
Probably.
time?
Yes, she moved to Ireland at one point, I think they said. No, here's this. She just said her son. So, look, you were born a dude, and if your mother comes to you and asks about, immediately your mom's going to originally think, oh, well, I did have a son. She's not going to really say, oh, my daughter. No. Seriously, shut the fuck up, dude. Just
Parents
accept
are
the
not
fact
gonna-
that you're a dude.
Parents are
We're
not
going to
gonna
refer
fucking
to you
care.
to your original gender.
Yep.
If you
I
came
mean-
out of that, your mother's.
I mean, we're 30
you're-
we're 30 years too late for an abortion, but nothing a bullet can't fix. Wait, did I just say that out loud?
But I hope she'll find your channel, John. Come on, hit play.
Oh, I would love that. You know why? Because she would accidentally invoke the transgender fact and accidentally I'll probably end up getting the whole quantum versus fucking mischief situation.
What about me? Could she get me
that
canceled?
many police have towards transgender people. This is
Well,
despite the fact
You're
Look,
Asian. She would be afraid.
look. Continue. I'm gonna.
Saying,
that
let's go.
the email
Gotta make me
contained
lose
my
my brain
real name
cells.
before ever even mentioning my dead name. This is one of the property bags returned to me after I was released from custody.
Hey, look, you're
All of the
doxing
property
yourself.
bags returned to me have Roberts written on them. Roberts was my last name until I legally changed my name first to Kaylee Sorrenti on January 25th, 2012.
On August 11th, London Police Chief Steve Williams put out a statement regarding some of her accusations. He states that all activity in the holding cells is monitored by audio and video equipment. They reviewed the footage and found no evidence of Miss Sorrenti being addressed by her dead name and gender. Williams concluded her dead name was used on property bags due to the existence of a prior police report, explaining that it was literally for tracking purposes. He apologized and ensured a solution would be implemented to prevent any of this in the future. Claire responded to
Meaning-
the statement by reiterating her dead name was used during the arrest. She even speculated the
Pause.
timing may have been intentional so they wouldn't get caught.
Did you say pause?
Pause.
Okay.
Meaning the only reason the police put her dead name on the bags was because they had a prior history of that person, him, in the system, probably from some dumb misdemeanor. So when he got arrested, and I'm just gonna say he, I don't give a shit, they immediately put your name that was in the system on the bag. It makes logical sense. That's how the police originally work.
That's
They
how the
don't give
police
a-
function.
Yeah, continue. I just thought I'd point that back out.
It's important that he said, well, I cannot confirm any conversations which might have transpired during Miss Sorrenti's initial arrest. And that's when it happened. The activity in the holding cells is monitored. And I never made a statement about any bad things that happened while I was in custody.
Wait, nothing
I would
bad happened to you in
absolutely
that holding cell?
assume that when the police know that these things are being recorded and can be
Oh my
part of
nose.
public record, they would be more careful with how they go about their business. I don't expect them to acknowledge how bad the situation actually was. And there's no way of verifying it besides first person testimony because there's no body cams in the London Police Service.
Her own partner then contradicts the claim that she was dead named during the arrest, though alludes to unspecified misgendering that occurred. Once again, any instance after the arrest should have been captured on recording.
And they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying Clara Sorrenti. Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either.
Oh,
As far as I know, is there anything I missed, Alex?
I think that's really the main gist of the arrest portion, which was really the most traumatic in terms of, having the guns pointed at us, the misgendering that occurred. Yeah, that whole arrest. That is how it happened. It wasn't straight up dynamic entry. They didn't.
The absence of evidence means that this only remains a he said, she said scenario. But it's hard to take Clara's word at face value given her complete and total lack of credibility. Another key part of her story was that police had confiscated their devices, resulting in significant financial damages.
They seized both my personal and work phone, as well as the work computer that I broadcast on Twitch from. Not only that, but the police seized my fiance's cell phones and laptop, as well as their external drive, which contained the only copy of their PhD thesis and other important university documents. Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones.
And this was one of her justifications to launch the GoFundMe to recoup her losses.
I started a GoFundMe to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights.
But there were no losses to recoup. The devices were returned after 3 days.
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
Pause.
So, yeah, that was really nice.
What?
Pause. She's complaining that they took her stuff permanently when it was only held for 3 days, which was probably just going through processing. The standard procedure, when you get your stuff seized, it has to go through processing to get it back. So if it was like wrongly seized, it has to go through processing, and then you get your stuff back. She got her stuff back, but she created a GoFundMe because you'll see. Just continue. I just thought I'd point out the legalese of that.
Yeah, that's why I got you here for the legal jargon.
Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
Now, if we're to believe that she meant 3 days after the swatting, that would place it on August 8th, a day before the GoFundMe started. There's also footage of Clara picking up her belongings from the police station, where you can see this property bag. It heavily resembles the property bag seen in her initial video. A close-up of one of the labels shows us a date of August 8th, 2022. This again implies that she got her stuff back before the video and GoFundMe ever even went live, and knowingly lied about needing to buy a new cell phone and computer. Even if you don't want to make that assertion, at best, she got her stuff back the next day, because this upload is dated August 10th. There is no way to reconcile these statements. In either way, it was dishonest to never update that campaign to reflect.
Give me 1 second, Keo. Just go through the contradiction of those dates real quick, because that hurt my head.
Okay, everyone, so simply break it down. Basically, she created a GoFundMe out of fakeness when she'd already got her stuff back. So, in other words, she committed fraud to get money. And probably because if she's a trans person, that's how it worked more better. You don't want to piss off the trans community. Not like I give two shits.
Okay.
I broke it down so you can continue.
All right, good. I had to hide some food because my nieces and nephews in here, and they're drunk and stoned, and 2 of them are passed out in the living room. So they're grown; they can handle themselves. Yeah, they are. You're a professional.
Hit the play button so you can find out more of the lore.
Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened to us.
Now, Keffals launched her GoFundMe on August 9, 2022 with an initial goal of $20,000. The page claims that if this amount was exceeded, the funds would be allocated to a legal fund to protect herself against ongoing and future threats to her safety. However, this was later changed to, I am keeping the GoFundMe up, but all donations are going directly to my legal fund, which I will be using to seek justice. Now, this is a very, very important distinction because it means all the donations past the first 20 grand were explicitly for legal action. See, Clara gradually kept raising the goal until it reached over $100,000 on the 20th. If you want to be technical, it actually never ended because she's still taking donations to this day. In fact, there wasn't even a fixed amount, which is odd, as it makes it seem like her goal was to basically raise as much money as possible rather than afford an intentional expense. Naturally, with her effort raising over $100,000, there were questions over how the money was spent. Claire has tried to poison the well numerous times by calling anyone who asks this question bad faith. I'll never do a GoFundMe breakdown for bad faith actors who neither support me nor contributed to the fund in the first place. Well, what if I gave money? Am I now allowed to ask? Ooh, that's a question we should bring up. Remember, this was a story that got mainstream coverage. There were over 150 articles published about the situation, including The Guardian, NBC, CNN, Bloomberg, the Associated Press, and Canadian state-funded news outlet CBC. Popular politicians like Jagmeet Singh of the NDP party took a stand by her publicly. Normies were led to believe a series of events that did not occur. And there are regular folk out there who don't have the time or capability to ensure their funds weren't misused, especially when there is a limited amount of financial support for at-risk members of the trans community. There is nothing wrong with questioning for transparency of where this money had went. In fact, more people should actually be asking where this money even went. Clara posted this photo in her Discord server, which was enough for trolls to bombard the hotel with pizzas. The next day, she uploaded a video declaring things had escalated and she was now in hiding. If you recall, another goal of hers was to move out immediately after someone hacked her Uber Eats account and sent $500 worth of food.
So what happened, I woke up and I got an email that the Uber, the email for my Uber Eats account was changed. And then I looked outside the door and there was like at least $500 worth of food ordered with my hacked Uber account. So I got doxxed again, except this time I also got hacked.
She expedited an already planned trip to Europe. Her rationale was that London police didn't have the resources to stop online trolls. And then she went live to provide further details.
You moving to Europe? I'm going to be living there for a while, but I'm not moving there. My fiance is staying back in Canada. And I'm going to be in the UK on my own for a while. I think that the current plan is that in 2-3 weeks of my stay, my fiance is going to be coming over and we'll stay together for a while.
Gotta get that visa.
On Monday, I find out if I got approved or not for the new place that I want to live at, which will give us a really good time frame of what we're going to do.
Her fans begged her to stop giving out information.
Stop giving out details. Stop telling me what to do.
Later that day, Clara tweeted, "Do I have any followers in Europe? Let me know if you want to meet up." Her first stream back revealed she was in Northern Ireland.
Oh, you called the kid. You said Northern Ireland. Oh, wait, the ad skip. Oh no, it's a fucking ad with the damn
So, I'm okay. I am currently in Ireland. I am staying with a friend.
You just
I'm
doxed
safe.
yourself by
Things are
saying
good.
where you're at.
Don't tell people what country. It is completely fine. Do you know how dense Ireland is? Very dense country.
Bitch, look at your forehead. That's dense.
I do not think it's going to be a problem.
She was staying with a friend named Ellen. Her ex-fiance never moved over for reasons we're actually going to discuss later. Ellen had already been doxxed months prior, and their apartment was found within 24 hours. And a troll took this photo outside their building. They were able to find her location just by using a doorknob. To be clear, I'm not endorsing any of this behavior or doing it, or even saying if you're careless, you deserve that this happens to you. My argument is that if you're willing to leave a continent to another continent to escape trolls, there is a lot you could do for less to mitigate the risk of doxing. For example, not buying equipment specifically for IRL streaming and announcing where you're going to be in advance. At one point, Ellen revealed they were going to go to visit a poutine truck in Belfast. The owner received bomb threats, which Clara used to tease an IRL stream on Twitter. Hey, maybe it's a one-off mistake, right? A day later, Ellen publicly fielded suggestions for future IRL stream locations in Ireland. I want to reiterate, if you are in hiding, why would you buy new streaming equipment specifically for streaming in the public, and then also share where you plan on going in advance? By her own admission, she wanted to stoke the flames in order to maximize publicity.
By intentionally making myself a lightning rod
press than
so
bad
I
press.
could make Kiwi Farms more vicious and attack me to the point where Cloudflare had no choice. Because every time they attacked me, I publicized it. One of the things that I did intentionally for the success of the campaign was make myself a lightning rod. I egged them on. I egged Kiwi Farms on. I wanted them to attack me because by doing that, I was able to show the world how fucking vile they are.
In the past, streamers have been punished for similar behavior. Ice Poseidon was notorious for being a constant target of swatting. He was ultimately banned after streaming and getting swatted inside an airport. And while it wasn't his fault, at a certain point, he was clearly feigning ignorance and enabling his troll's behavior for content. What makes Clara's behavior different, and what actually prevented her from staying in Canada? Well, if you think it's fucked up for me to question it, don't worry, because Keffals has since admitted that this entire cover story was all a lie. Nowadays, her explanation for leaving the continent was not to escape online harassment, but to escape her ex-fiancé, Alex, who she now accuses of being abusive. To not get too deep into it, this is after her ex-fiancé called her out for leaving to cheat on her with Ellen.
This is where I need to admit something.
I was
Last
about to
year,
say, did she
I was
start
in the
cheating with
papers.
Tipster?
Hold on,
This is on CBC,
pause.
Canada's biggest media outlet. Twitch
Pause.
streamer and trans activist says
I know, I'm trying to pause
she's
it. I don't know
leaving
why it's like-
Canada for a while.
Get this,
I swear, with all
everyone.
these-
I want you all
All
to
these
think
fuckers
about
on the
this.
Wi-Fi right now, they're fucking it up.
I just want you to think about this. She left a dude, and she's a dude for a woman. And
Wait,
the dude,
rephrase that again.
she's a dude. Remember that. That's a
She-
dude.
yeah.
And
She's a
her
dude.
fiance is a dude. He's mad because he or she, whichever one he was, moved in with a woman and had an affair with a woman. And dude, woman, ex. You get
So
the gist.
it went from
Gay
from
to straight.
gay to straight to straight to gay to gay to.
I just wanted to point the irony of that out.
Due to harassment. Earlier this month, Clara Sorrenti was the target of a swatting incident and has been doxxed and hacked. And there was a criticism that I frequently got throughout that time. How does moving to a different country help you with online harassment? And as we found out, it didn't. Because once I landed in Belfast, I had people showing up, making threats outside of where I was staying. And I knew that no matter where I went in the world, I would not escape online harassment as long as I was an online figure. And the truth is, I left the country because of my ex and because I was scared of my ex, because my ex was abusive and abused me emotionally and yelled at me and consistently coerced me into sex. That's why I left. But I couldn't tell anyone. I didn't want it to be a big thing. I didn't want it to be in the papers while all the journalists were circling around and writing their stories. I didn't want that to be known. I didn't want any of this to ever be out in public.
You're doing it now. You're telling it now.
Here's,
so it's out in
Her
public.
escape basically amounted to a paid-for vacation across Europe, evident by a leaked post from her closed Twitter circle on September 14th. Claire reveals she was staying in Ireland until the 27th, then heading to Spain until the 11th, before moving into her apartment on the 12th. Now, the dates imply that she had already just bought tickets, but she ended up in London instead to watch a play. Claire then briefly returned to Ireland before flying to the United States to attend TwitchCon. Not only did she stream the event IRL, but she even antagonized Destiny's ex-wife for being married to him.
Keffals went to go, and she went up to Melina, and she was shaking. Like, it was like she was so anxious or so angry, she was shaking, right? And she said, "Tell your husband, if he doesn't stop coming for me, I'm going to get his YouTube channel deleted." No memes. That happened. Okay.
So Keffals moved into her new apartment on
Full
October
stop.
12th and used some
No
of the
memes.
GoFundMe money to pay for a full year's worth of rent in advance.
God damn.
So just a quick update. I have an apartment for October. I'm moving then. I have it. I've already paid. I'm putting it I'm using the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year in advance.
Now, which is not something she ever said she was going to do, and a huge departure from just moving. Clara moves into a luxury apartment and with a low approximation amounting to $28,000. So far, Clara has admitted to spending the money on new devices, as well as equipment for IRL streaming. She traveled across Europe, planning to visit Spain from Ireland, but ended up at a play in London instead. She then flies to TwitchCon in the United States before getting an apartment in Canada and then paying an entire year's worth of rent. There, she bought even more equipment to build a professional set with studio lights. While it's difficult to make an exact calculation for this, the gaming chair alone, her gaming chair, would have cost over $2,000.
I had to take extra caution with the set that I made. It's not even a set. It's just like part of my home. But it is basically a set. I have like studio lights. I have like whole camera thing. It's very professional.
Yeah.
So I had to go through all of this as soon as I got back from TwitchCon to make sure that I could just like return to my life before I was swatted.
But see, that wasn't the only thing she admits to spending some of this GoFundMe money on. Clara also says she contracted a security company in September to keep herself safe.
I consulted with a security company.
What?
And they made all of my devices hack proof, and they gave me tips on not getting doxxed again. They also helped me with
Tips I'm not getting inside here. I got a tip. The easiest tip in the world. Shut the fuck up.
a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't talk about because I signed an NDA, like a non-disclosure agreement.
You just broke it.
I already hired a lawyer, and all of the information between me and my lawyer is privileged and confidential, and I can't talk about it.
But you're talking about
money
it.
towards a legal fund is being utilized, but until the point where I can actually talk about what I'm doing, I can't say anything.
But just saying it right now.
So I use the money to find a place, to contract a security company to keep myself safe, and to hire a lawyer.
This raises an interesting question on what the security company was doing beyond making her devices hack-proof. That same month, she confronted a prolific member of the Kiwi Farms thread. Keffals tried to intimidate the user with their personal information, claiming to have hired a private investigator. I know the PI will get me more, though. He's still talking to the family and school officials. This didn't work because they doxed the wrong person. The user mocked her and asked if she paid for the PI using her GoFundMe. Clara responded, "No, the GoFundMe is currently in savings until I need to use it." In case you doubt the authenticity of these messages, Clara has confirmed that they are real several times. And I don't know about you, but hiring a private investigator so you can confront trolls with bad info doesn't sound like the action of someone in fear of their life. Her messages also contradict a tweet where she says $50,000 was already put into the legal fund. The final thing Clara mentions in that stream clip is using the money to hire a lawyer. What's interesting is that by her own words, she already had a lawyer and was consulting 2 more. The day after the GoFundMe had launched. It was one of her earliest responses to criticisms over reportedly raising her goal.
Yes, I'm using these funds to move, but more importantly, once I'm
Chris
safe,
is streaming this
the
Keffals
rest
stuff
of those
right now.
funds are going to be used for legal expenses. Because I'm not just moving, I'm also taking legal action.
It's
On
worth
real
noting,
bitch.
everyone.
Where's my fucking
And I'm
Q-tip? There
consulting
it
with
is.
2 more. I'm going to
Everyone
get
pause.
justice for what happened to me and for every other marginal.
Yeah.
After this video dropped is when Tipster fled the internet.
Oh.
It was because of this video that Tipster fled.
So he fled. He fled
'Cause this
faster
video-
than BSP fleeing to Washington.
Yep. I just wanted to point that out.
Marginalized person in this country who has been victimized. Legal fees are incredibly expensive. And I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that.
This is strange in retrospect, as only 12 days later, she made it very clear she was holding off pursuing legal action against the London police.
After it first happened, I was very mad at the police. And I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them. But they've taken the threat against my life very seriously. And
Sure, bitch.
I want to see justice. There's a lot of leads right now, and they might actually be able to catch the person who swatted me. And with what is going on and the connections to Kiwi Farms, knowing that they're monitoring the thread, we might actually see something happen.
Now, at around the same time, she told the Kiwi Farms user the money was in savings.
No.
She claimed she never said she was going to sue the police.
Yeah, that's all I said. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I wanted to be very careful with the language that I used because I don't know exactly what the plan is. I know that I'm eventually going to take legal action in some way or another, but I don't know yet. And I can't talk about the different things that have been discussed between my lawyer and I.
Now, going back to Destiny's manifesto, this was scrutinized on a much wider scale, which led many to start asking for a breakdown of expenses. Clara refused because I'm not providing a product to investors. I won't be sharing expense breakdowns. I've been advised by lawyers to keep everything close to vest for legal and safety reasons. Clara rebuked that there was a legal fund. She got an apartment and was now processing the entire event. Now, you're probably wondering if she wasn't planning on suing the police, why did she hire lawyers and what was the point of the legal fund? Well, if you read between the lines, some of you might be able to infer what actually happened. On October 2nd, 2022, Clara posted a client engagement agreement to prove legal action was underway. If you look at the bottom, you can see the document reads, "We have concluded a review of our records and we confirm that we have not identified a conflicting interest in representing you in this matter. We searched the following names that you provided to us as being relevant. The terms they searched for were Clara Sorrenti, Kiwi Farms, and KiwiFarms.net. Now, this proves she was paying money to consult lawyers about a lawsuit against Kiwi Farms, but not the London police. It's dated August 10th, the same exact day as her stream stating that she'd consulted a lawyer. There isn't actually even a good explanation of why she did this. Kiwi Farms was never mentioned as the intended target of her legal fund. The only entity named in the GoFundMe was the London police. So this took place around the same time she claimed she never intended to sue the police. And if you're wondering why it didn't go anywhere, for as much as people hate Kiwi Farms, the website is entirely legal. There are countless examples of attempted litigation that demonstrate this and why it never actually came to fruition. One thing I also want to address is some people have said, whoa, did you get some of your evidence on the Kiwi Farms? Even if I did, that doesn't make the evidence inadmissible. A lot of the Kiwi Farms evidence is actually cataloged on archive websites that capture a snapshot of a web page and tweets and whatnot. This is to ensure that nothing that I'm showing you is actually altered, and it was as it was originally posted. This makes the evidence admissible. It's kind of like saying, wow, did you find that perfectly good piece of evidence sitting in the middle of a neo-Nazi compound? Yeah, trust me, I get the whole building surrounding it is pretty shitty, but that doesn't mean the evidence is inadmissible. It's still perfectly good evidence. I just wanted to address this point because it's a common deflection and one that I absolutely need to nip in the butt.
Suing Kiwi Farms was actually something that I previously considered and was consulting with lawyers about doing that. And I basically came to the conclusion after looking into it that it's not worth it. There's little I can do as a Canadian
worth it because you can't
to benefit from doing a lawsuit against Kiwi Farms. The only possible lawsuit being a defamation lawsuit, which there is little to no benefit for me to do.
3 days after posting that letter, Claire admitted on a private stream that she hadn't even started yet. Her unnecessary traveling is blamed for keeping her busy, which to me is an admission that she wasn't all that interested in consulting her lawyers.
But now I'm going to be focusing more on the legal things because I'm settled down, I'm back in Canada, and I have time to work on this now. Consulted quite a bit with my lawyers.
No insult to our Canadian friends.
But we, at the time, were...
We know you're not all like this.
Especially during the campaign, basically unsure of how to go forward, especially because my availability was kind of all over the place.
And that's because this will be a very important issue later. She was still in the process of collecting evidence.
But the problem is right now is that I'm still in the process of I have to collect all the evidence. One of the first steps that you need to do is collect evidence. And if you announce prematurely who you are taking legal action against, it gives that party an opportunity to try and destroy as much evidence as possible.
That's the red Kool-Aid.
I'm not even going to publicly comment on the party either.
Now, for this to make sense, you kind of have to assume she wasn't talking about the police. In that case, we already know what proof does or does not exist. Her recount can't be proven. And even if we're to believe her, it's hard to argue the police acted out of prejudice. This is brought up by Nicholas Diorio, who got some interesting answers out of her on stream. The first clip is Clara stating she was still engaged in legal action against the police.
I wasn't aware you were still engaging with legal action.
The fuck? I can't.
I am.
Blur that on purpose.
It's just like,
yeah, he blurred it on purpose.
There's been so much shit
Not
that
much
happened,
to hide, but...
and then like immediately after like getting back from everything, I had to move, and I like just got unpacked like 2 weeks ago.
Claire described a specific incident in which she was dead named while being put in handcuffs. However, she admits it could have been an honest mistake, and the officer didn't know what a dead name was.
Now, there are questions as to the dead naming taking place. They claim they have no footage of you being dead named once you get back to the precinct, and you claim there was dead naming. So the only time that could have happened is during the swatting itself. Is that still something that you claim?
Yeah, that was something that happened with the constable that arrested me, like when I was actually being put in handcuffs.
Look, I don't have a problem with spicing up the story a little bit.
Like this makes my eyes roll to the back of my skull.
And I understand the like how this upset you and your family, but it really does sound like you kind of slandered those cops. Like, I don't
think I slandered them. I mean,
if
like,
we're taking them at face value,
slander.
Right? For that they thought when they were going into your house that they were like potentially dealing with somebody who was planning to shoot up a like public office building or something like that with like politicians, then like it's totally possible that they thought that was your name, like that you went by that name. So
I mean, no, because the email. Problem. Did you read the email?
Yes, I did read
the first sentence of the email is "My name is Clara Sorrenti,"
but then it was signed with your dead name.
It said, "My name is Clara Sorrenti," and then my dead name is blank, and they put the dead name. So they made a decision at that point that they thought that my name wasn't actually my name and dead name was a real name. The officer that
police
actually
don't
like
care
arrested
too
me
much about this dead name
said she did
stuff.
not actually know what a dead name was.
Now, this is
That's
where the
the
story
point.
starts to take a very drastic turn. In the same private stream, Clara states that she had 2 years to take legal action due to the statute of limitations. Her plan was to start sometime in December or January of 2023.
With the Ninja Thirsty Drink System.
So now it also makes sense of one thing. EDP was always using statute of limitations wrong. It doesn't prevent them from going after you. It's 2 years before you think you can do a lawsuit. Oh.
Lord.
The Lord of the Harvest needs to. Oh fuck! I just looked up. I did not know if I was seeing better help or better teeth.
Better help.
A timeline of how things are happening. I have a total of 2 years to take legal actions. That's a statute of limitations. I want to start before this year ends, ideally. Like if I can kick things off in December or in January in the new year, that would be ideal. That's what I want. I talked to my lawyer today, and it's looking like January is the month where I'm going to be filing against the London Police Service. Once the video is out, everyone will know like
what
all
about
of the
earlier?
details of the case
Exactly.
going forward. I've already been told that the case that I'm about to start could take up to 5 years.
This never came to fruition, with the activist drifting away from politics and stoking the flames of online drama. She started fighting with people like Keemstar in her own community, to the point that Drop Kiwi Farms officially denounced her. Her self-destructive behavior drew a lot of concern, which eventually led people to discover that she'd actually relapsed into addiction. It was leaked publicly on February 19, 2023, and a few days later that Clara admitted herself to inpatient rehab. Now, I'm not here to shame Keffals about her addiction. It's important for people to take recovery very seriously. But the timeline of events also can't be ignored. The relapse occurred after the attempted swatting. Clara says after settling into her new apartment in October, she began drinking excessively. And at the start of 2023, she started doing full-blown Colombian. And I'm not talking about no coffee, boy.
I got really depressed.
Okay.
I lost interest in politics. I lost interest in basically all of the things.
A little bit of this right here. or what is it? A little bit of this right there.
That's what he was doing, though.
That helped me build a platform in the first place. And around the end of 2022, I started drinking, which made me spiral. It was around the time that I was in fights with Keemstar. I started drinking, and then as more and more shit started happening, I started doing cocaine at the start of 2023.
Near the end of the month, she went on an 8-day coke bender before finding out that some of that coke was, I guess, cut with meth.
8 days into a cocaine bender, I found out that the coke that I was doing was cut with meth. So for 8 days straight, I was doing coke and meth.
This took place a few days after she had said
She
the
was
dreaded
turning into a
R-word,
meth head.
"Ooh," which she later blamed on withdrawals, apparently. Her spiral worsened as she started doing coke, meth, benzos, while attempting to buy H on the dark web.
Started doing coke and meth and benzos, and I was planning on ordering from the dark net.
After the backlash, Clara went into rehab on February 22nd. In the next few days, I will be admitted to rehab. The doctor said that because of the drugs I'm addicted to, without medical supervision, detoxing will kill me. Now, I'm inclined to believe her on this, given that she didn't return until about a month later. Clara later admitted that she spent more money going to rehab than she ever had on actual drugs.
I was in rehab for 34 days before I discharged. I went to the addiction
Gotta go to
rehabilitation
rehab,
Toronto
screaming,
facility,
no,
and it was
no,
one of the
no.
best decisions I think I've ever made.
While Addiction Rehab Toronto doesn't have prices listed on their sites, aggregators like Recovery.com price a 30-day stay at the facility at 20,000 Canadian dollars. And that is a fourth of the entire dollar amount. It's hard to believe that expense, on top of buying enough drugs to end up there in the first place, had no bearing on how that GoFundMe money was used. One of her mods admitted the habit went a bit into the fund money at the end. However much a bit is, we might never know. Her relapse began right as she was supposed to initiate legal action, that by her own admission hadn't even started. Remember, she was apparently collecting evidence to beat the statute of limitations. And after a vacation across Europe, new stream equipment, TwitchCon, hiring a private firm, security firm, and private investigator, consulting lawyers about kiwi farms, and paying an entire year's worth of rent because fuck it, why not? She spiraled, necessitating a month-long stay at a rehab facility that cost approximately $20K USD. Sorry, hold on a minute. I'm having a little brain fart. Canadian dollars, okay? Big difference. With the latter beginning in the exact time frame she claimed to finally take action against London police. Now, of course, there is one last hope for the GoFundMe money going towards anything vaguely resembling those initial stated goals. In April of 2024, Keffals' lawyer, Justin Anisman, filed a complaint against London Police Services with the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal. The application hereby argues she is the victim of discrimination by London Police Services, referred to henceforth as LPS. Now, of the 5 examples given, 3 of them discuss her dead name being used in their records. This is true, and acknowledged by London Police in their first statement. The complaint further alleges LPS officers used her dead name and gender. During the arrest, this cannot be proven as no body cam footage exists. In a private conversation, she explained pushing body cams was one of her main goals. If I could get one thing from all of this, it would be body cams, since the police didn't even have them in my hometown. There is no evidence
cocaine was involved.
Well aware of, hence why her last point is actually kind of bizarre. The complaint introduces an entirely new accusation and has somehow gone unmentioned so far. Clara alleges that an officer groped her breast and said, "Yeah,
was going to get heroin from the dark web."
The fact that we haven't heard about this before is insane. It completely changes the narrative. This realistically should have been her leading story, since it's also at gunpoint, apparently. If true, the interaction recontextualizes every claim of dead naming. It also makes her behavior afterward much stranger, given that she seemed to forgive LPS in favor of pursuing action against kiwi farms.
Lawyers. Yeah, that's all I said. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I basically had to make peace with it. Like, after it first happened, I was very mad at the police. And I wanted to
could tell whatever looks cracked out right there.
To even potentially pursue legal
looks
action.
Looks like Alex without the fucking dots.
But they've taken the threat against my life very seriously, and
any minute she's gonna be going.
Justice.
Fucking dot's gonna.
Now this is in stark contrast to the reduced feelings and insecurity described by Clara as a result of her inability to trust LPS. This impacted her ability to earn a living. In the 6 months since the events at issue in this application, Ms. Sorrenti has seen a reduction in income of more than 25%. That document further alleges that their treatment of Clara left her unable to leave her home. By the way of example, she feels incapable of leaving her home or socializing productively with friends and family out in the community because of a fear that LPS will continue to discriminate against her.
Wait,
this is patently untrue, given that the time frame is...
Get a what now?
I said a Higikimori, a shut-in. I said, so she became a shut-in?
When she traveled across the world. It also doesn't make any sense to blame London police for that reduced income. And it only gets crazier when you realize the complaint seeks $125,000 in damages. Accordingly, the applicant seeks the following remedies: a declaration that the LPS discriminated against the applicant contrary to Section 1 of the Code. In order for damages of the injury to applicant's dignity, feelings, and self-respect in the total amount of $75,000. And in order that LPS compensate the applicant for the loss of income suffered and other special damages incurred as a result of the discriminatory plus interest therein in the amount of $50,000. Now, I can't claim to know the intricacies behind the actual lawsuit over here and the Human
Keffals.
Rights Tribunal. To be
Keffals.
honest,
I have
I've
some
tried
Kool-Aid for
researching
you.
this and I've called around as much as I can, but obviously information on a case, if it's pending and ongoing, isn't going to be shared, nor is a status really something to be handed out about. But at the end of the day, I'm not a lawyer, so me digging into this isn't necessarily going to do much more than you would expect. But that being said, okay, with all of this brought up, this is, I guess, the only last Hail Mary that we have. And if you ask Keffals, the reason they decided to go with the Human Rights Tribunal rather than a lawsuit is because the Human Rights Tribunal has unique powers that a civil suit does not. In Canada, if they were simply to do a lawsuit, all they would get is money. They are apparently pushing for police body cams, which is the complete goal right there. And papers have been processed and they're awaiting dates to appear in the tribunal. And I'm told this could take a minimum of 2 years at best, and 6 years at worst, depending on if this gets escalated to a higher judicial body.
And
So again, I'm not an expert in the HRTO, and this section might be pending. And because Keffals is, I guess, quiet these days, I'm blocked, so I wouldn't really know. There might be updates to this, there might not be, okay? But to end this section off, to recap, Keffals deliberately tried to raise as much money as possible. None of her reasons make any sense. She didn't need to move and use the money for a vacation in Europe, it seems. She didn't just use the fund for moving expenses, but a full year's worth of rent, something she never said she was going to do. And as far as we can tell, she had no tangible losses. All of her possessions were returned within days, and the legal fund was for a nebulous lawsuit that has changed targets twice. The closest we saw to any actual legal action was that HRTO complaint, which doesn't even require a lawyer and is completely free. It's unlikely to go anywhere since she apparently has no evidence, no credibility, and seemingly no actual legal standing. Yep. Okay, so now that we've covered the SWAT...
Part 4, Website 0. Probably has to piss. Right there. Okay, I think he went to use the bathroom. I'm gonna go take this to the kitchen.
Okay, everyone, what'd I miss? Ugh.
I just had to go to the kitchen real quick.
I had to leave for a second, and I came back right back.
Okay. So we're at the 55-minute mark. We're close to the 33-minute mark of Muda's video. Part 4, Website 0.
Squatting and her GoFundMe, let's talk about her campaign to drop Kiwi Farms. An important thing to recognize is that this is a public discussion forum. You can see what people are saying, and that also means it's difficult to prove something was their fault if they didn't brag about it on the site. To be clear, they're not innocent whatsoever. They're not entirely innocent. They collect and organize personal information, and I would never argue that they don't harass people. We can prove Kiwi Farms users doxed her old house and one of the hotel rooms. However, they weren't the main culprit. There is a completely different site that actually took credit for the harassment that veered into actual criminality. For the sake of not promoting it, we're going to be referring to this website as Website 0, like others have before who've covered this topic. If you've read the thread closely, you'll discover Kiwi Farms users don't find out about the swatting until after her GoFundMe. On August 21st, Claire's Uber Eats account was hacked and she blamed Kiwi Farms. The next day, a post was made on Website 0 taking credit. She showed a receipt for the order as part of the docs. This post also included phone numbers, accounts, addresses, emails, and passwords belonging to Sorrenti, as well as many of her family members. The doc stayed pinned from the date it was created until September the 4th. It was being worked on publicly since March 28th, and with users actively calling for others to track her down. Despite this, Clara continued to blame Kiwi Farms instead for hacking her Uber account, even directly calling for Cloudflare to halt services in response to the hack. From here, she makes a decision to move to Northern Ireland to flee online harassment. And it's important to know that Kiwi Farms was down from August 26 to August 29. Website Zero identified her location on August 26th thanks to that doorknob. Keffals blamed the Kiwi Farms, calling them out by name on the 29th.
Doorknob? Is
the
that
same day she
really
claimed a Kiwi Farms user had identified her location and threatened to show up. She claimed to have identified the user and forwarded their information to the police. And this is true. If this is true, there's no reason for her to believe this individual had any association with Kiwi Farms. The user had been very active across 4chan and the rest of the internet on a variety of easily identifiable accounts. And they've also explicitly stated that they had no connection with Kiwi Farms. She already knew that this person was from 4chan, even showing the original threads in one of her tweets. When we spoke about his plan beforehand, he left comments on Website Zero, and Website Zero was never mentioned once in her account. Clara later claimed that this resulted in another swatting, stating the same thing repeated itself, except Northern Irish police did not pull a gun on her. Apparently, the police were called to investigate a made-up stabbing. She noted they were very friendly.
This followed me. I leave Canada. Now I'm in Northern Ireland. The same thing repeated itself.
Yep. Who's the
Northern
creepy lady?
Irish police did not pull a firearm on me, so that's cool. I appreciate
You mean Ellen
that.
DeGeneres?
Oh yeah, no, someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they're knocking at the door. Compared to what happened in Canada when I got an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing. Cops are playing with the cat here.
That's interesting that the Canadians are also so militarized, the police there. I didn't realize.
Police were calm during this incident because Keffals was not swatted. It was a wellness check from someone afraid she was in danger. The person who contacted police reached out to Destiny to explain they were worried about a stalker. They specifically refute the idea they called in a stabbing. On the H3H3 podcast, Keffals stated that the swatting had mentioned a stabbing, but that there were no guns when they visited. This link shows the armed response unit, which is deployed for when someone reports a stabbing in an active situation. There's a picture there that shows a dynamic entry. Someone with Ellen's background wouldn't realize that Northern Ireland does actually have a history of armed violence, and the PSNI response to what that violence is equivalent to the United States of America. The evidence strongly supports that the story Keffals gave on the H3H3 podcast about being swatted here is utter horseshit. And if you recall, law enforcement began actively investigating the people harassing her. As it turns out, they actually caught them. The harassment was largely perpetrated by a now defunct group on Website Zero known as Vile. Vile doxed several people related to #DropKiwiFarms, including Keffals and the owner of the DIY HRT directory. This is easily proven as their signature is present in the pastes themselves. Some of their known techniques include using fake emergency data requests to impersonate government officials. They also use stolen passwords from law enforcement officers to subpoena companies into sharing private information. That info was then used for extortion. This criminal activity is only known because 2 members were arrested and charged in March of 2023. Now, while the group is defunct, as demonstrably law enforcement did their job, the important distinction here, though, is what Vile did was criminal. There is legal recourse for extortion. Amongst the many crimes they committed, Kiwi Farms, on the other hand, is still entirely legal, which is why she has to poison the well against them. Her motivations are especially curious given this DM from August 4th, a day before her swatting, where she flatly stated she didn't want to talk about Kiwi Farms anymore. Later on, Clara admitted she targeted the site not because she was in fear of her life, but because it was opportune timing.
All of us are here talking about website X. We're all talking about how
I
bad
wish
it
I could
is.
see what's this blurred shit
how
here.
It's like
I'm
a secret.
curious of what the
How
fuck
we don't
is this
speak the
blurred
name
shit
of it,
there.
but everyone knows it and everyone's worried about it. And it's like, it sounds like the perfect website for a campaign for them to get dropped by their fucking service provider. This is what I'm saying.
I don't think the momentum is there for that though. with the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, it was just really opportune timing. I had all this media attention on me, and journalists were like following every fucking thing I said and did.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know about the second website until they went after me.
Yeah, but when you describe it as like a worse version of the same website, but whoa, please don't talk about it. That's crazy.
Well, it's like
it's very revealing that when a site exists embodying the very thing she accuses Kiwi Farms of doing, her reaction is completely different. While it's reasonable to not want others to find it, that doesn't justify blaming Kiwi Farms for the actions of another separate community. It's her refusal to acknowledge the actions of Website Zero as the actions of Website Zero that necessitates its mention. When asked, she fails to address this in a satisfying way.
Question, Keffals, to you. So basically, if there's another website that's doing things as malicious or more malicious than the Kiwi Farms post, I'm wondering, like, why not draw attention to that website in particular if they seem to be more inherently dangerous?
I don't think they're more inherently dangerous. They also don't have as many active users because the people who, on the other side, the people who do it, they're more technically skilled in what they do.
Is that Tipster's Discord avatar in the
but
back?
also because they had more extensive
You see that? You see that right here in the corner?
documentation of my family, and
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
Nicholas
want to put
Diorio,
that out there.
Keemstar.
I think that's reasonable, right?
I can't think of who the other
I don't
guy
want my
is.
family to
That
get
looks like
top
Tipster. His hat, the one in the commercial. I know what Keemstar's looks like, but you see, Tipster's is on the far right.
Yep.
Sure, if you don't want your family to get hurt, that's fine. But the opposite of what you're saying right now was your justification as to why you have to go after Kiwi Farms. Like, this place is doxing you. This person's posting tons of your information.
Why do you
They're
defend
stalking
Kiwi
you to
Farms so
multiple.
much? I think
it makes you
Nicholas
wonder
Diorio.
if she wasn't willing to go after the site because she was actually afraid. Why did she target Kiwi Farms in the first place? Why continuously lie about the site being down to your followers? Why accuse anyone with genuine criticism of you as having used the site? Is there something that she was trying to hide? So 47 minutes in, you probably know that I have to address the big,
director in the
massive elephant in the room. Okay, Horton hears a who, boyos. The reason for this is because I don't even think we can begin to have this conversation without showing now definitively that Keffals, as a narrator, cannot be trusted. The conversation surrounding the subject has been intentionally warped and obfuscated, and even questioning it will get you labeled a transphobe. Okay, and I'm not a transphobe. I'm bringing this up. Okay, this is very this is a minefield I'm walking in. Okay, when we talk about the harassment from Kiwi Farms, it can't be understated that they are transphobic. It's true. There is truth to the idea they'll call just about anyone a groomer just because that they're trans. However, this has allowed Keffals to absolve herself of responsibility of her own actions and pretend as if there's nothing she has personally done for people to distrust her character. Not only that, but she'll discredit any criticism by associating it with Kiwi Farms, the big bad farms. At the end of the day, if documentation exists, then regardless of that source, it speaks for itself. Keffals will hide behind her identity as a shield, accusing anyone who brings up her genuinely questionable behavior as pedo-jacketing. In reality, this is little more than an excuse to avoid accountability. And it's finally time to talk about do-it-yourself hormones and Catboy Ranch. In June of 2000...
Here we go.
Another new fucking made-up word. What did it just say?
Catboy, just watch this. This is
pet a what?
Hold on. Watch this section, John. This will blow your mind.
Blow my mind. My chair's gonna get abused.
Just watch this section. This is what
testosterone
she didn't get.
enhanced.
Just listen.
I'm about to listen right now.
2022, Claire began sponsoring the DIY HRT directory. For a myriad of reasons, hormone replacement therapy is often inaccessible to many trans people. The directory intends to teach people how to, quote unquote, safely obtain HRT without a prescription. While some are legitimate pharmaceutical-grade medications simply imported from other countries, the site also offers a number of homebrew sources. They are colloquially referred to as bathtub estrogen, in reference to the actual practice of brewing your own HRT. This guide in particular is linked to Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, which is also listed on the directory. Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals is extremely controversial for reasons that will become very self-apparent. The packaging is covered in sexualized depictions of young boys cross-dressing. Again, I have to blur this out because it is actually a violation of YouTube's TOS, with text on the box that reads, "Keep out of reach of parents." It's disgusting and clearly falls under the category of Shota or Loli, which Keffals has given her own opinion of in the past. It's already questionable to endorse what are effectively unregulated drugs. It's even worse to explicitly advocate for their use by minors. Keffals bragged about donating thousands of dollars a year to the site to help people get access to HRT before the age of 18. She said, "I do not give a single shit what you think. I am doing nothing wrong, nor will I ever back down." The directory was even added as a link to her website, with an accompanying chat command. By then, she was marketing her community as a safe space for teenagers. As a former trans kid who is now a trans adult, I want to say, to all the young trans people who follow me, I love you. I care about you, and I will fight for you. We will win. There is hope for people like us in this world. They cannot and will not keep us down. I have no opposition to providing safe access to HRT for trans people who need them, right? That's just a thing. If doctors can come in and there's a way to safely do it 100%, get the proper people involved, not me, not Keffals the activist, both of us are clearly not doctors, sure. But it is dangerous to condone questionable individuals with shady histories like Keffals and deceitful messaging to illicitly offer these treatments online, especially to minors. The directory was created by an individual known as Bob Posting, or Chloe. Chloe and Clara have a long history of friendship together. Chloe thanked Keffals for her sponsorship and even got brought on stream to promote the site. She would reply to Clara on Twitter, 1,000 minors on HRT. Her association sparked backlash after people began to notice her bizarre fixation on secretly sending HRT to minors. I've unironically helped like a half a dozen minors acquire bats of estrogen. No one tell them I've helped more than one minor order. I don't groom children. I just show dozens of kids every week how to buy bats of estrogen with cryptocurrency and how to hide it from their parents. What are you talking about? The directory does, in fact, take cryptocurrency, and at one point even instructed minors on how to buy Bitcoin. If you're a minor, get a trusted adult to purchase Bitcoin for you, or go to your local BTC ATM. Chloe has also referenced minors in relation to an act known as pink pilling, the act of convincing someone that they are trans on multiple occasions.
Pink pilling, what the fuck?
Absolutely epic designs.
In the course of a week, learned words that I thought were made the fuck up. Pink pilling, cunnilingus, twatalingus, fuckalingus, I don't know. I'm gonna need counseling.
Pink pilling minors is based, actually, if they reach out and express a desire for HRT.
Pink pill minors?
I have unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors. And by pink pill, I mean point them to HRT resources after they reach out. So when this was brought to the public's attention, several changes to the site were made. They removed Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals and implemented a site-wide age warning. This seems to contradict their explicit advocacy for minors to use the site. 2 days later, Chloe announced she would no longer be involved in the directory. Keffals similarly distanced herself and her sponsorship vanished. She has tried to downplay her accusation ever since, and this is what she had to say earlier this year when questioned about the directory. I gave a wiki site $500 a month, and they put my website link in the banner. This was the extent of my involvement. I have never produced or distributed or even purchased DIY hormones. I didn't sell anything to trans minors, and I wasn't involved in production or distribution. Claire didn't just endorse it. She was friends with the creator who openly gloated about pink pilling minors. She even joked about it with Clara on stream.
I wanted you on the stream because I have a lot of trans youth who watch the stream, so you gotta like chill your pink pilling stuff.
Wow, I have the perfect resource for you. So I am pretty well known for those who don't know. People know me for like being knowledgeable about DIY HRT and how to, access DIY HRT. And so I have this site which people are already sending a link in chat, is DIYHRT.github.io. If the mods want to like plug that, that would be amazing. And
So while Chloe has since disappeared from the internet, there was actually a new development. It was discovered that shortly after retiring, she was convicted for robbing a bank in 2020. On February 14, 2020, on about 7:18 a.m., an individual wearing a surgical mask walked up to the counter at the Scotiabank branch located at and handed a note to a teller. It read, "This is a robbery. You are not in danger. Call the police 30 seconds after I leave the door. Give me all your money. No bug money." The robber handed the teller a box. The teller placed cash in the box, and the robber then left the bank with the box of cash. The teller locked the door and told her manager what happened. The police were called. This individual was identified by police as Chloe. The teller placed a GPS tracker device hidden between four $20 bills. And when she discovered this, she tried to hide it beneath some snow. It was quickly found, reported to police, and they retrieved $5,190 in cash. And Chloe was convicted in 2023. Though currently her sentence is unclear, the Criminal Notebook, a free resource on Canadian criminal law, says the average sentence in Alberta for this exact type of crime is 4 years and possibly a fine. And while it's unclear who owns the directory now, it's still around to this day. In fact, they recently added back Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals.
My bad.
In fact, they even added back that filthy Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals, clearly waiting for that public backlash to die down. Needless to say, everyone involved in this entire situation has exhibited suspicious behavior at best. So, one surprising development that actually kicked in while I'm sitting in my hotel room right now is apparently one of the actual pharmaceutical groups that was listed on the DIY HRT directory, vanapharma.com, which, by the way, ships domestically only within the United Kingdom, accepts cryptocurrency only, blah, 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 has actually been hit with a pretty bad letter in this regard. So for this is from the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency in the United Kingdom. And if we look closely over here, you can see that we investigate the criminal supply of illegal medicinal products. And during one of our investigations, the following domain name has come to our attention: vanapharma.org. Internationally, every jurisdiction has its own law, blah, 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 blah. What they actually were hit with over here, the violations, is Regulation 46, where a person may not sell or supply or offer to sell or supply a medicinal product otherwise than in accordance with the terms, okay? And of course, Regulation 214, which is a person may not sell or supply a prescription-only medicine except in accordance with a prescription given by an appropriate practitioner. And of course, Regulation 279, which is a person may not publish an advertisement for a medicinal product unless one of the following is in force of the product. So yeah, they got hit with something. And again, before anybody in their camp says whatever they were doing with the DIY directory was legal, this is
it's only because just the amount of legal jargon
actually not, and it required governmental intervention. And this is a clear example of government regulation kicking in. I'm
trying to find the stream that
what they were doing wasn't exactly above board, and it's understandable why many would be dubious of their intentions.
They also say, I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You are telling them how to make homemade hormones.
Oh my god.
There we go.
No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
Bitch,
Keffals calls anyone who questions her behavior past transphobic, accusing her critics of pedo-jacketing and groomer libel. When Ethan Klein called her out for defending Bosch's horse folder, she poisoned the well.
Bosch's horse folder. I forgot the horse
and called me a hero for fighting against a far-right stalking forum that made multiple people themselves. Now you are using out-of-context clips sourced from the same website to attack people. What's truly disgusting about this is something like pedo-jacketing actually can be a real problem.
There goes that fucking
it would be
term
dishonest
again.
to act like baseless accusations of pedophilia against the LGBT community don't actually exist. But once again, Clara uses all of this to avoid accountability for her own actions. Clara, Keffals, your identity is not a shield from criticism, okay? Every time you do this, you actually throw the entire community you're supposed to be advocating for under the fucking bus. And that takes us to the tale of Catboy Ranch. For the longest time, Keffals used to block anyone who referenced Catboy Ranch. It was actually mentioned in the letter that caused her initial swatting, but journalists declined to include it. Clara later used this to justify why no one should look into it. When I was swatted, the swatters mentioned Catboy Ranch and giving children Catboy collars in an email where they impersonated me
John got his
and
first
said
super
that they were
chat.
going to shoot up City Hall. It was all Kiwi Farms misinformation. Now H3H3 fans are regurgitating it. The problem with this argument is that ultimately the documentation speaks for itself. Nothing on Kiwi Farms should actually be taken at face value, which is why they find it so important to archive everything. That ensures that the original source exists and allows you to verify the information for yourself. With how much misinformation and perhaps disinformation has been spreading about what Catboy Ranch really is, it's about time we look at the facts and try to understand what it actually was. When I first mentioned the subject on Twitter, she posted a link to the supposed Discord in question. By the way,
Kage's on stage. The devil is here.
I'm here.
Blue, do you know much about Keffals?
As far as I know, as far as I know, when I'm hearing this shit, I have never felt such vitriolic rage.
Can you send the link to Two Black?
I already did.
Oh.
Just know that there's embezzlement, sneaking estrogen and hormones, like sneaking it to minors through their audience.
Pink pilling?
Terminology that I've never fucking heard before.
Which is stupid, by the way.
Look. She didn't drink the red Kool-Aid because she's not a Republican. Because you know the damn thing. She drank the blue Kool-Aid.
Did drugs off the dark web.
She did cocaine that was laced with meth.
Laced with meth.
On it wasn't benzos. Maybe it was benzos. Was it benzos? She said it was benzos.
It was called bentosentopine or whatever the fuck. It's one of those long, complicated. You know why? Because right here,
and she did heroin.
I have this right here, and I have to take this for sleep. It sounds like it's called cycloblenzapine, but it's called bicoplen. So whatever the fuck, benzo. Thank you, benzo.
Here's the hilarity part.
She ain't taking any for sleep.
She also did heroin.
She does heroin?
Yeah, she got the heroin off the dark web.
She was a crackhead. In other words, she went full-blown crackhead.
He bitches are spreading fast.
And here's the funny thing, okay, because this is the funniest thing of all. She had a fiance, or he had a fiance, so that's the dude and the dude.
Yeah, here's the funny part.
Dude, and then they split up. They split up, and then she went to Europe or some other place and met a woman, a biological woman named Ellen, who she cheated on.
She thinks it was lesbian sex, but it's still straight because you might look like a bitch, but you still have a dick.
I pointed this out to John. He about had a mental breakdown when he realized
I didn't catch it at first.
How do you not know that you are fucking a man?
Look, there's still 15 minutes of Muda's video. Then we'll give we'll talk about that aftermath before closing things down.
Let's do it.
By the way, the server is still up. That is not the original Catboy Ranch server. In fact, it was created in response long after in June of 2023. The story of the actual Catboy Ranch server starts with a Twitter account she owned by the same name. It was created in 2020. The plan? To create a Twitter meme page directed at femboys so I can herd them all into my ranch. It was somewhat gimmicky with close ties to the Bosch's community. Most of the posts were submissions made by either Clara, her friends, or people in her DMs. And the page was overtly sexual. And she did public calls for submissions and invitations.
What the fuck?
Like this tweet if you want to be added to the Catboy Ranch group chat. It was by any
Leo
metric with pornographic art posted on the account and used as the Discord banner. There are endless, and I mean endless, tweets that are very explicit in nature. For example, my biggest regret about getting bottom surgery is that I never had the chance to nut in a Catboy I'm coming out as someone who likes to get their prostate slammed and or slamming someone else's
John,
prostate.
kill me.
I really think that was kill me now.
Oh my god!
Ryan right about
Kill
now.
me now.
It had
What the
reached
hell is
8,000
this?
followers by early 2021. It was around this time her page got marked as being adults only. A recurring theme throughout her posts was the idea of ownership,
Fuck
which is
am I
when things get
looking
really
at?
strange as we approach the Discord server. The Catboy Ranch Discord was created in December of 2020. Within 3 weeks, the server amassed over 650 members, partially because she promoted it under her viral tweets. While it doesn't appear
After
any
this video
archives
was
of the chat
released, that's
exist,
when
what
Tipster
is public
disappeared.
has raised a lot of eyebrows. At one point, Sarah shared photos of 2 callers given to members of the Discord, clearly engaging in some form of role play. These individuals are adults, and I'm not alleging otherwise.
Oh no!
Clearly a
I'm getting
space
like,
for
oh
adults,
no! I'm getting
and
like
minors
flashbacks.
should have been
Oh no!
kept away as
We
far
might talk about
as
that
possible.
Sunday night or Monday.
Keffals has
from off.
reiterated that the server has exclusively 18 plus and
Sunday
required
works
photo ID
best.
to join. However,
Sunday,
she
yeah,
also
kick off
stated
at
that photo
7:30,
ID was
so.
only required for the not safe for work sections. These are 2 very contradicting statements. And ignoring the fact that she shouldn't have been interacting with minors on Twitter either, Win, also known as @FemGirlVR, was followed by Clara on both of her accounts. On September 28, 2021, Clara replied to Win calling her very cute. A month later, Win tweeted at Clara complaining she couldn't post nudes because she was 15. Then in November, Catboy Ranch replied to Win acknowledging her age. You are 15, your skull hasn't even fully developed. Win later proclaimed herself a proud member of the cult of Keffals.
It's a Keffal
I
cult.
just can't get over how much hope
There's
you
a
give me.
cult
I should
now?
be able to start HRT before I'm 16 or once I'm 16.
What are all these cults
So just
appearing?
knowing that there's the potential I could pass like
I got
you,
the Masamune in my
does
hand right
give me
now.
hope
I
to
got the
keep going.
Masamune in
Thank
Red
you.
Queen
Maya,
right in my
or
hand.
Femboy
I would've
Mask,
slayed.
is another minor Clara interacted with on Twitter. Maya claimed to have been a member of the Catboy Ranch Discord whilst underage. Maya said, "Hey, I'm the person involved. There was no grooming." Someone replied, "Who said there was? You were still a minor in Catboy Ranch, which had ID verification." Maya then confirms that only the NSFW sections did. Maya was 16 years old when she began interacting with Keffals. 5 days after she turned 17, Clara replied to her selfie with a meme. "Damn ya ass fat, what's your pronouns?" Clara later tweeted a meme at Maya about taking estrogen and getting erections.
Oh,
In one
shit.
thread, Catboy Ranch interacts with both Maya and who was 15 years old.
Meme was funny.
And these are highly inappropriate interactions for someone
meme
to
was
engage in
so
on their
good.
adults-only account at the age
That was
of
good.
27.
I won't lie.
And this is only what we're able to see publicly. It's also worth noting Maya has since argued in favor of underage people lying about their age to
Amazing helps Anthony through night classes. Amazing starts at CSL Plasma. Donate plasma today.
Oh, this one is unskippable too. So,
So, what do
What
you
you
think
walked
of the Femboy
into?
Ranch?
Hell on earth.
What do you
Furry hell on earth.
What do you think of that Femboy Ranch, John? I knew of this. I watched this whole video.
people online.
Back to our
Maya turned
regular
18
schedule
in January of
programming.
2022 and made an NSFW account to post nudes 3 months later. Now, this is where the story
was
gets
the
even darker because we have to look at Maya's
Ugh.
interaction with another user named Danny.
Why are
Username
nudes always
is
involved?
Here. Danny publicly bragged
Seriously.
about getting
Like,
Maya
stop
on
with
I swear,
DIY
I think,
HRT when she was a minor.
nudes
About
are
to start
are the
bragging that I got Maya on
perverted
HRT when she was a
currencies.
minor, Maya began ordering
They
from
are.
Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals a month after turning 17. I'm about to take the pink pill, still cis though. This all was with assistance from the DIY HRT directory. A year later, she was so unhappy with her results,
was
she
the honk-
actually called out and blocked Chloe
the great
on
pilling.
Twitter.
The pink.
What happened?
Oh my
She got
God.
pissed about her hormone results? I mean, that wouldn't be Chloe's fault because that's not something she can control. Everyone reacts differently to that stuff. Also, there's different dosages. The two would end up having an argument about the specifics of HRT. Chloe calls Maya an idiot, and Maya says this: "Fuck DIY, fuck all of this. I don't know how this happened. My regimen didn't change since my last test. I am so done with listening to these quacks online who pretend that they're better than actual doctors." As Maya herself stated, these people are not doctors. And someone like Chloe should not be allowed to posture
What?
herself
Use the regular
as
word.
some kind of authority
Asshole.
on the subject.
Like
No
literally.
one without any proper credentials should. Not me, not Chloe, not Keffals, not anyone. Maybe it would be less of an issue if everyone involved in the situation was a legal adult. But as we've demonstrated in the last 5 minutes, they are not. Clara explicitly advocated for the DIY HOC's
These people
directories
weren't legal
used
adults
by minors, while
And they
clearly
were taking
aware of
the
her friend's
bathwater
activities,
estrogen.
behaviors, and
That's why I
history.
said kids
Not
are
only
very easily
compounded by her
influenced.
constant lies surrounding Catboy Ranch, when even what we can prove already paints an incredibly unsavory picture. There is simply no good justification for why Keffals, while being overtly sexual, was interacting with and befriending underage fans.
And the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so, where do you guys do this? Is it like a Discord or something, or like
Oh,
a
get that
community?
like a Twitch
bastard out
stream.
of the way.
Oh, just on Twitch.
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public.
Yeah.
Because they
Get him out. Get,
they make me it
what's
sound
his
like you
face
have
out
some
of
kind
here.
of secret
H3.
or some community
H3.
spot.
Get him
that's
out of here.
Not publicly
Or
seen
Easy
where
Line.
you're talking with kids and stuff. But that's not
Get
even
him
the
out.
case.
I swear I hate
No.
that guy.
Wow, that's interesting. They really are just straight up lying, huh?
Now, there's a lot of misinformation surrounding Catboy Ranch, including the circulation of several alleged screenshots. And to be clear,
Catboy
these aren't
Ranch.
from a server Clara owned, but an acquaintance named
They're into
Femboy Cooking.
femboys.
Femboy Cooking is infamous
Oh,
for saying
God.
this: "It's not a choice. We are not asking you. We are telling you we will turn your kid gay." On June 23rd, 2021,
What?
a Twitter thread was made
What?
exposing Femboy Cooking's Discord server. A user named Sorrel called it an outright den of
tweet-
grooming. The server had roles to
Yo.
identify both
That
adults
tweet is
and minors.
wild.
And in spite of
That
this, he
shit
caught an
was
adult
wild.
openly flirting with a 13-year-old and calling
What
them
the
a cute
shit?
little bottom cat boy.
Is going
When
on?
confronted, admins defended
up,
the server's
Bushido?
practice
Bushido's
of
in the house.
allowing underage users. Why would we bar minors from the server on the off chance that they'll be groomed? How if they've been taking how if they
So
have been
there's
talking
fucking
about
grooming
having
involved,
with men,
es-
you can
illegal
show me where,
estrogens,
but your sexuality
and
is a part of you. There's nothing wrong with
Man,
it. You're kind of the one
drugs,
introducing the adult-oriented element.
nude
It's
currencies.
kind of weird. Keffals admits
Tweet
that he
land.
was in this server and called the screenshots disgusting. I have absolutely nothing to do with that Discord, and I think that is disgusting.
Total hype.
Someone replied, "By that you mean you'll leave the Discord?" And she said, "Already did. I wasn't aware or active about any of this until now." Bruh, I was joking. I didn't know you were
Oh
a
my
part of
God.
it. That changed
Buddha, how
after the
much more?
person
Okay.
who made the call out got suspended. Clara celebrated the thread's deletion, even though she
8 more
admitted it
minutes
had
of Muda's
evidence
information.
of an adult flirting
Woo!
with a minor.
Oh
Those
my
are her
God.
own words.
This is
Just wrote an entire
glorious.
thread seething about me
Look at
from
these cat
behind the block,
boys.
and tried to get his followers to dogpile my tweet, and then got suspended. People combed through Femboy's Cooking Discord and discovered an adult flirting with a minor,
Wait,
and
Femboy
decided that
Cooking.
I am
They
somehow
cook?
guilty of this.
They cook
Once
now?
again, suspended. This is stunning
Whatever they
admission
t-
that
whatever
she
they
helped
touch.
cover up
I
an
don't
adult
want it.
flirting with a 13-year-old for her own convenience.
Cat.
And there's also no proof that the person who made that thread is a P-word.
Don't forget,
Early into
they were
Drop
drinking
Kiwi
this.
Farms, Clara promoted an artist named ZR
They're drinking the
Kayla.
Kool-Aid.
Kayla is known for running the account Transphobes posting their L's. She faced backlash for knowingly associating with actual zoophiles,
Transphobes
including a
posting
moderator on
Ls?
@transphobic
Don't
L's.
drink that.
She also is known for drawing what would some describe
I
as
noticed that
necrozoophile
account
art.
popping everywhere.
Keffals defended her purely on the
Wait,
basis that she had a
necrophiliac
thread on Kiwi
zoophile art.
Farms.
But the thing is, like,
Oh,
I
fuck,
know
it's
they
the Fallout
lie
shelter.
about literally
This
everyone.
bitch is back in the Fallout
so
shelter.
why would I believe their
Fuck,
claims?
fuck,
Like they're calling Zerk
Look at that
Hollow
face.
a
You could tell
necrozophile,
drugs are
and it's like,
involved.
they call everyone.
You don't have a shiny
everything.
forehead like that unless you're sweating the
Nothing
drugs
they
out
say
your
is
system.
truthful.
Dear Lord.
I have no reason to believe that.
Dear Lord, what the hell is that?
You do furry gore. Look,
That's a great
gore?
meme.
Wait,
I agree
gore
too,
or
Black.
furry gore? What the fuck did she just
However,
say? Or it? I don't know. What?
I don't think you did anything wrong.
I just gotta. What did the he bitch
I
just
can
say?
just choose not to look at the part of the
He
internet.
bitch.
Remember,
long as
he
no
left
one's
to go
getting
find a
hurt,
real woman
I do
because he
not
couldn't
care.
do it for guy.
Then she calls out every person with the thread on the site to band together. It's probably a good time to bring up that Kiwi Farms has actually put criminals in jail, put actual criminals there. most recently putting a prolific animal abuser behind bars. I'm not saying every user or thread is virtuous. Even if you hate the site, you gotta admit, some people deserve to have their actions exposed. Keffals' campaign
True.
eventually took her to Chris Chan, who she brought on for
Chris
an
Chan-
interview right after Chris got out of jail for allegedly having relations
No,
with their mom. Hilariously, she had to keep up the lie that Kiwi Farms was still down. A lie she maintained for years.
No.
At this point, I need to pose the question: what goddamn moral high ground does Keffals have over Kiwi Farms? It isn't doxing. She paid money to dox her critics, as well as innocent members of their family. It can't be cyber stalking. She got ousted from her own community for trying to gather dirt on who she
Or
called a
request of mommy big
prototypical
dick. What kind of
lolcow.
fucking name is that?
It can't be some belief of criminality.
That doesn't
The
even
whole
make
point of getting
sense.
Cloudflare to drop Kiwi Farms is making them susceptible to illegal DDoS attacks. And when the site was hosted in Ukraine, she posted the address to the servers publicly and then accused them of supporting Russia in some weird hopes that I would imagine would be retribution. Her entire MO is exploiting other people for her own benefit. Every time she claims people are criticizing her, it's because she's trans. She undermines the actual hate directed towards trans people on the basis of their identity. And what about her cynical use of other people's death, from James Somerton to the victims of Kiwi Farms to bringing up Tony in her feud with Ethan Klein?
She starts this motherfucker off with "in memory of Tony Winchester, who was the RS
Why?
Glory and Gold."
Why bring him up? What the hell?
He, first of all,
That's a long story. That's a rabbit hole in itself.
I'm speechless with that one.
I know.
How
I know
many
about
deaths
it.
do
I
we
know
have to
about that.
watch or weaponize until we all get together and can agree invoking someone's name in this way is just really fucking disgusting? And finally, to top it all off, there is no transparency surrounding the GoFundMe. She seems to keep inventing new details about her swatting, and many of the criticisms thrown in her face over the years are rooted in reality. If there's anything to learn about all of this, is that Clara Sorrenti has no morals. She will completely disregard the truth for her own gain and profit. There is no scenario where you can take her at her word, because she is shameless in her attempts at manipulation. If you are someone who felt sincerely invested in Kiwi Farms being taken down, then she has failed you. The site is stronger than ever, and they've raised over
Sorry about that. My brother yelled
$150,000
in.
for their own litigation fund. They've already seen results in getting a company to retract their libelous claims. Dropping Kiwi Farms proved to be a terrible business decision for Cloudflare, who stated it caused a loss of potential customers and significant adverse feedback. And now everyone knows exactly what she was trying to hide after all this time. Now, this final section of the video, I have to preface with some caveats. When I first announced I was going to be working on this video publicly, several former friends and editors reached out to offer their perspective. They expressed feelings disillusioned by her behavior and provided what appears to be pretty damning screenshots, one that I started this video off in the beginning, as you can imagine, regarding what Clara did with her money. The reason why I waited to introduce this is at the very end is because I wanted to show that you can make a strong case with what is already publicly available. I have also been very honest about the extent of my knowledge regarding this evidence. Okay, I have to be very honest here. Keffals has stated
No,
No,
we're
Retro.
just gonna be
even doing so on screen before posting them as if they're real. Keffals and her camp have
give some thoughts on it
demonstrated
and then
being
call it for the
actual
night, 'cause it is pretty
disinformation
late.
agents, and having to vet screenshots are actually a serious concern. This is why I say I never believe an actual message until I open up the server myself, hit refresh, and see it with my own fucking eyes. I don't just believe any screenshot thrown at me. With all that being said, this is what I was shown. The first is from a screenshot from a private group chat dated November 30th, 2022. Feels really bad watching the GoFundMe deplete. The rest will cover a year's rent and my psych fees if I talk to a psychologist once a week for the next 11 months. Ellen tried to comfort me by reminding me that it was an emergency fund. I kept trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture and helping my friends out, buying new streaming gear and clothes. If legitimate, this is an admission that the GoFundMe had greatly depleted after just 2 months. It also calls into question if she actually did buy new clothes and equipments for her friends. That isn't even remotely covered by any of her stated goals. Claire seems to understand this, going on to state, if anyone ever finds out about how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled. and these messages were deleted like what, 7 minutes later?
Oh my god.
If you recall, in September of 2022, Clara mentioned hiring both a private investigator and a cybersecurity firm. This conversation, dated November 12, 2023, appears to shed further insight as to why. The source first sent a tweet from YouTuber Bad Empanada, who had criticized Keffals in the past. Clara responded by sharing his full name, date of birth, and home address. When asked how she obtained this information, Clara gloated she was insane before revealing the name of another YouTuber named Second Thought. Does Kiwi Farms have this info? No, I did it myself. I never published this info. It's just like a game for me. Clara continued, I'll have more soon. I paid for another information request from an Argentinian PI firm. Honestly, my dream is to retire from streaming and be a PI. Dox people professionally. The lady who wants to drop Kiwi Farms, ladies and gentlemen,
Professional
use
dox.
the money raised under
That's a
false
profession.
pretenses to indulge in her
Great.
fantasy of being a professional doxer. Allegedly. Given the nature of these
Is the Keffals
screenshots,
ones
we
with
have
that
to be
Kiwi
very
Farm-
careful about
temporarily,
the
by my
legitimacy.
understanding, but
However,
it's back
I did
up.
end up reaching out to both of the YouTubers
Yep. Been back up
targeted
for
to
quite some
verify if the information was legitimate. And unfortunately, I did not get a single response back, as sad as it sounds. I think at the end of all this, the real harm that Keffals has done is not necessarily just to herself, but for the people that she quote unquote wants to advocate for. Look, throughout covering this video, I've learned that the trans people that I've talked to just want to exist. And in most cases, they're just average people, and their identities are just their identities. That's it. They actually have lives outside of what their, again, trans identity usually is. And a lot of those people I talked to have all disliked Keffals, and they've all disliked him because, you know,
Imagine being
as
disliked
far as
by
I
your
can really
own
tell you, this
community.
person's like the Jesse Jackson of trans people. Okay, they will use
Jesse
this as a
Jackson.
shield. They will
Jesse-
constantly try to be an
Jesse Jackson
activist,
of
and
trans
I
people.
You
feel
mean the
that
Uncle Ruckus
Keffals' behavior
of that
has made
community.
her the perfect controlled opposition for making trans people
But Uncle
just
Russ
look
is not a pet.
terribly
Oh,
bad.
okay,
So the end of all this, ladies and gentlemen, Keffals is in fact a liar. They are evil, they are malicious, and they're at great harm to not just themselves, but the community they quote unquote claim to represent. That said, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
So, Keo, you've been sitting on this information for a fucking
I find
day.
it funny. I find it
What?
funny.
What
You
just
find this
happened?
shit funny.
Because the fact that Tipster left when Muda dropped this video, Tipster deleted his channel and everything.
Tipster
But we found
disappeared.
out. But
He's on Twitch.
we found out before we started to stream that he's on Twitch. He deleted his YouTube channel, but he's still on Twitch.
Well.
So he's technically like trying to hide from YouTube, but he's on Twitch and could activate the Twitch channel anytime he wants to and has all the requirements to meet money. And this is the thing where the funny thing about Tipster is he would white knight so hard for Keffals that people thought he was cheating on his wife with Keffals.
Speaking of which,
what?
Since everybody's gonna get no, here's the thing, Keo, let's save the Tipster stuff for Sunday night because there's a sequel to this one. It's gonna be called the Keffals drama Part 2, Electric Boogaloo with Tipster.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Because
I
right
think
now,
I think we're all transphobic because of this stream. We're gonna be labeled that.
I guess. I mean, we've been called everything. We've been called everything under the fucking book, but
True.
we're still here.
Make sure to download this and upload this to the Shogun channel for a backup, John.
Yeah. And show off your Trump shirt before we go anywhere.
Not guilty, everyone.
Not guilty. Well, sadly, since our old buddy here, he got up late, but you will be there for Sunday. Anybody who's
will.
watching, we will have a sequel to this on Sunday.
Oh boy, let's get ready. Get
Same
ready for
time,
that.
actually, same time, probably this time sooner, like at 8:30. Oh God.
It
Ask
won't
for
be
another
as
time.
We won't start it as late as today because traffic held up and a bunch of other things held up. That's why it went-
Traffic held me up.
So hopefully we'll have it on time like before. We'll post the time in Discord.
Yeah. That's something for a different day, Schizo. That's something for a different day.
A different day.
Another
So-
day. Another day.
All right. I'm about to end the stream. Just
John's learned a whole
have
new
to-
vocabulary thanks to this stream.
I learned a whole new vocabulary of words and it started earlier this week being traumatized with the show, learning what the word cunnilingus means. Which is something
Why
I
did you
didn't
have to
know.
learn that word?
Well, because I didn't know, because that's something that you naturally do as a man, but I didn't know there was a phrase for it.
You poor innocent soul.
And now I have hit the end button.
Great.